Alrighty, welcome to another week of running rants and recaps. So we're now about 2 weeks removed from the Hawke's Bay Marathon, where if you watched the last video, sub 240 attempt, dealing with a bit of an injury, had a stomach bug, quite a painful experience, came in just under 252. So just wanted to recap. This is the first week back into some proper training this week. I'm very happy with how the body's sort of coming back to life. Last week I was bedridden right up until Wednesday. Didn't run for the rest of the week, just sort of tried to get my energy back. Monday, start of this week, went for a very, very short run. I've also just put my Strava on public for the first time ever, so if you want to follow along and see how I'm structuring my training, yeah, jump on there if you like. And so anyway, Tuesday did a double run. I can't remember exactly how it all went, but essentially the goal this week was just not push anything. I've had breathing problems since the marathon, which I think is related to the stomach bug. My wife had the same problems, who also had the stomach bug. And any time I sort of tried to pick up the pace, or actually not even when I was trying to pick up the pace, even easy runs, the breathing has been quite bad. But anyway, I took yesterday off. I was just exhausted. Yesterday was Saturday, it's Sunday now. And it was weird because I'd been looking forward to doing a big weekend session, but it just got to yesterday morning and something was off. So listened to the body, decided I need to be patient because last week I was literally in bed, sick, so I need to be patient with healing the body. But today had a really good session, so because I'm still dealing with this back and hip injury, it's still sort of there a little bit. I don't want it to get any worse, and in fact I want to really knock it on the head and get it right. I don't feel like it's an injury that I can sort of, I've got to be careful with it. I can feel it jarring sometimes when I run, and lower back is not something you want to mess around with. So I went and bought some headphones yesterday, some over-ear ones, tried them on the treadmill in the gym today, and they're bloody brilliant. So very relieved. They were just a cheap pair, but really good quality. They don't move around, so extremely impressed with these headphones. JBL I think is the brand. Yeah, super stoked with that. So essentially the plan of attack now is build up the volume, cross-train as much as necessary to reduce just the physical damage on the body, essentially, while building up my cardiovascular. I think because I'm a 4-foot runner, my calf muscles fatigue well before the rest of my body does. And also, like I mentioned, I'm dealing with that hip lower back injury. So I'm jumping on the elliptical machine, I'm jumping on the spin bike, and just getting that volume up as much as I possibly can while it heals, and then just I'll spend extra time on the treadmill now that I'm signed up to a gym. I feel a lot safer on the treadmill, a lot less jarring on the back, and then I can do some uphill sessions as well on the treadmill, which I actually did this morning. Doing some incline reps, get that hill climbing strength without having to worry about the downhill jarring if I was outside hitting the hills. So really stoked with this morning's session. Did a bike warm-up, then jumped on the arc trainer, which is sort of like an elliptical, but I don't like it because the same arm and leg move forward and back at the same time, so it's not natural like when you're running. So I ended up jumping on the elliptical at the end of the session, and the elliptical is great because your opposite hand to leg move forward at the same time and then back at the same time. So It's more natural of a motion. And this elliptical had a really good sort of cyclical motion to it. I was really liked the feeling of it. Got good glute activation, which is going to carry over to the hills as well, which is great. And did, a good incline treadmill session. So although my cardio is definitely not back to where I want it to be, still sort of really struggling with this breathing. Today was definitely a step in the right direction. So I'm actually going to head out shortly just for another easy run, just because it's a beautiful day out there. It's a sunny day, so that'll top off the week. It'll put me over 10 hours of training, so I'm very happy with that. 10 hours, it's a good amount of volume first week back from recovery, so to speak. So yeah, the plan is to push it up though, going into this next race, which is a 65 kilometre ultra marathon. There's over 2,000 metres of vert in it, so quite a bit of climbing, good distance. So the plan is to get the legs very strong for that. Lots of climbing reps on the treadmill, and then also hitting some big hill sessions in the weekend when I got more time to sort of rest and recuperate from them. And yeah, I really want to average at least 12 hours of training a week. That's sort of what I've got in my head. I don't want to go for a distance of kilometres per week, because then I don't deal with that good mentally. I start overtraining when I set a number of distance. But if I set a hours per week in terms of volume, when it comes to cross training, if I've got the number out of my head of I have to hit this distance in the week, if I get that out of my mind and I'm just focusing on good amount of volume, good amount of hours training, and then really honing in on the quality sessions, then I'm not worried about distance. And then I generally, when I take this approach, I get a lot more out of my body. I get much better results. For example, if I was focusing on distance, I would maybe substitute a hill run for a flat run so I could cover more distance in that time, because I wanted to hit a certain distance in the week. And that's sort of sabotaging the training in a way when I'm training for a very hilly ultra marathon race. So that's just one example of how focusing on hitting a certain distance per week doesn't do well for me, just from a discipline perspective, and just how it makes me make silly decisions because of some arbitrary number. So I'd rather focus on hours per week, getting in a good amount of volume. And if I have to make up that volume just sitting on a spin bike and doing an easy spin, that's great. That's just a little bit of extra, zone 1, zone 2 cardio, whatever you want to call it. And it's less mechanical damage on my body as well, because like I was saying, my calf muscles always get very fatigued when all I'm doing is running, and I feel like I've got a lot more energy to give, but I can't, because the calf muscles just can't seem to keep up. I've strained them many times before in the past, like fully torn them to the point where I could barely walk on them, and I've done that so many times. I believe there's quite a bit of scar tissue in there, I'm not too sure. And then coupled with the fact that I'm a 4-foot runner and relying on my calf strength a lot, they seem to still be a weak area. They are getting better as the years go on. I do a lot of release work with the foam roller and the release ball, and I do a lot more calf work, like strengthening work nowadays. So they have improved, but they still are a weak point. So I'm just going to continue to work on that and supplement the training with the spin bike and the elliptical machine to get that total volume up, just so I can build a bigger engine to support the faster speed work and also hill work. Another thing I've been doing is taking iron supplements. I might have got this idea from Ran to Japan, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, but they seem to be making a huge difference. I was getting some really bad brain fog and fatigue, and that seems to have just cleared up that sort of afternoon fog. I've also reduced my caffeine intake quite substantially. I used to just, I make filter coffee, and I used to just dump a whole dump a whole pile of coffee in the jug every morning, and who knows how much caffeine I was having. Now I weigh it out or measure it out with a spoon, and I'm probably having about a third of the amount of caffeine, sleeping better and just waking up with much more energy, much less brain fog, and I still get to enjoy a daily coffee, so win-win. Yeah, so that's actually very encouraging. I think I'm going to have a much less stressed out nervous system just from those couple little supplementary sort of changes. I've added creatine back into my nutrition. I've completely forgot about creatine for some reason. I don't know why. Just got slack. So I've added that back in, and hopefully that'll just give me a bit more mental energy, and also obviously physical endurance. So yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. Like I said, you can check out all my training on Strava. You can see how this run's going to go this afternoon. And yeah, if you've got any questions, if you want to know, any thoughts or anything on my training or anything like that, comment down below. These discussions have been quite cool so far. I've been getting some nice comments. I really appreciate them. And I do want to make some more shoe review videos. The next one I've got planned is the Topo Spectre 2 once I've hit 500 kilometers. I'm at 300 and something kilometers at the moment with the shoes, and they're just a really fun shoe. I think they're very versatile. I think they would suit people, not just sort of the wide foot sort of barefoot minimalist community, whatever you want to call it. I think it's just a generally fun shoe for a lot of people. It's very well designed, very versatile. So I want to make a shoe review on that. Also want to make a shoe rotation video, just to go a little bit deeper into how and why I choose each shoe in my rotation for different, not just running, but also gym workouts and things like that. Yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. So hopefully all going well. The cross training is going to bring in a whole lot of gains. It's going to allow me to rehab this lower back and this hip a lot better, and just activating more muscles generally, getting some more thigh strength, some more glute strength, just from varying up the machines, the bike and the elliptical, and even the treadmill. I love the treadmill. I love being able to hit the incline, not have to worry about damage on the legs from downhills if I'm really sore, and just saving the downhills for a really good quality session. Saving that for a good weekend session where I can head out for a few hours and really attack the downhills hard, and then give myself time to recover while cross training. So yeah, it's just about dialing in the training more, trying to be a more well-informed athlete, get the most out of my body while I can. Yeah, and share anything I learn along the way. So that's where we're at. Hopefully by next week we'll be up to 12 hours of training by the end of the week, and then we'll see how far we can push it. What are we now? End of May. The next race is July the 12th. Yes, we've got some good few weeks to just get my fitness back up, dial it in specifically for the hills, and yeah, try and survive the 65-kilometre beast, which I'm very excited about. Going to be doing a bigger long run with my brother in a couple of weeks we've got planned. We're hoping to hit a 50k run, but we're both still a bit banged up from the marathon, so we're just taking it day at a time, and yeah, see how we go, having some fun along the way. So yeah, that'll do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Cheers.